Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request from Movie Guy 2005. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, topics, tier lists, rankings, video game playthroughs, something random like this, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it. PayPal's the best way to do it. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And you wanted me to look into what were my top 10 favorite movie years. And I just say right now, it was nothing this era. Most of them were the 80s or 90s. I would say the span is from 1985 to like 1994. Now, that doesn't mean, there's some good years like 97, 98, 99. There are years of those I do like, but these were the 10 I picked. And let's just go with number one first. 1986. And I'm like, well, why would I pick that? It's because when I looked at that year, there's so many films that stick out for me in that year. Aliens, my favorite film of all time. Cobra, one of my favorite Stallone films of all time. One of my favorite action films of all time. The Golden Child, my favorite comedy of all time. The Hitcher, great horror film. Big Trouble in Little China, one of my favorite adventure films of all time. You have April Fool's Day, which is one of my favorite slasher films of all time. You have Star Trek IV, which is my favorite Star Trek film of all time. You have The Maximum Overdrive came out, one of my favorite Stephen King anything of all time. Jumpin' Jack Flash is my favorite Whoopi Goldberg film of all time. There's a lot of stuff that year that I go, you know what, that's my favorite. You know, I love Short Circuit. I love The Fly remake. So a lot of films that year that just stick out for me for those reasons. Number two, I put 1990. Because 1990, at that time I'm 7 years old. I'm starting to understand movies and such. So this is like the new stuff coming out for me that really is hit an impact with me as a kid. The first Ninja Turtles film, of course. And then it's like you got Tremors, which is a favorite of mine. Jacob's Ladder, which is one of my favorite horror films of all time. Total Recall. I Come in Peace, another favorite of mine. Watchers 2. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. The First Power. Arachnophobia. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Die Hard 2. There's a lot of films in 1990 that just stick out for me. And I go, wow, that's a great year. The Rookie. With one of my favorite Clint Eastwood films. I've talked many times about how Tremors, I love that film. Graveyard Shift, I always thought it was a type of monster movie I could get into. Watchers 2, I think that went straight to video. If so, that's one of my favorite straight to video films. Very much with nostalgia. Arachnophobia, I have a lot of fun with. So yeah, 1990... definitely sticks out to me. Number three, I put 1988. Does 1988... you have a year... First off, that was a good year for horror sequels. Because you had Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master, which is my favorite. One of my favorite sequels. My favorite in that franchise. You had Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, which I liked. You had Phantasm 2... Hellraiser 2, Critters 2, Halloween 4, all sequels that I quite enjoy. You also have Child's Play, Watchers, Waxwork, The Nest, this film called Pulse with, I think Joey and Matthew Lawrence were in it. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. To me, it was a good, fun year for horror films. And then, of course, the Blob remake being my favorite of that year, horror-wise. Rambo 3. I'm a huge Rambo 3 fan. I always said it's one of the more underrated sequels. Die Hard. You got Die Hard, you got Bloodsport, you got Above the Law, and Young Guns, and They Live in the same fucking year. I say these, and then I think of this year, and I'm not bullshitting. This year... one of my favorite films is War of the Worlds from 2025. For different reasons, for different types of entertainment, but still, that's how shitty this year is. But I look back to 1988, man. So that's number 3. Number 4, I put 1989. I love Leviathan. I've talked about that so many times. It's a personal favorite of mine. See No Evil, Hear No Evil is one of my favorite comedies. I love Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder in that. Tango and Cash is great. The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren is great. I love Weekend at Bernie's. That summer of '89, you had Batman, Back to the Future 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, License to Kill, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Ghostbusters 2. I mentioned Batman. Yeah, The Abyss I do like. And there's films like Tit Boxer and Cyborg with Van Damme, Blind Fury. I keep confused if that's 89. I think that's 89 because I always want to say 90. But Blind Fury is a good one. Shocker, love Shocker. Perhaps my favorite Wes Craven film. The Burbs, my favorite Tom Hanks film. A lot of good stuff in '89. So 86, 90, 88, 89. Then I put 1987 because you got Predator, Lethal Weapon, RoboCop in the same year. You also have The Running Man, Evil Dead 2, Over the Top, The Lost Boys, The Monster Squad, The Hidden, Three Men and a Baby I love, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. 87 is a damn good year. Number 6, I put 85. I wanted to put that higher because that's such a fantastic year for action films. Rambo First Blood Part 2 is one of my all-time favorites. Commando is great. Invasion USA, Death Wish 3, Remo Williams, American Ninja, Police Story. I mean, you also have Fright Night, Day of the Dead, Silver Bullet, Warning Sign, The Goonies, Back to the Future. And I wanted to put it higher, but just somehow the others just... I had to put more... Because there's a lot of good stuff at 85. I felt like I could find more in the other years. But yeah. And that's the thing. I try to base it like the amount of movies. But like 86, like those are some all-time highs. There's so many all-time high favorites. Aliens, Cobra, Golden Child, Maximum Overdrives. I had to put that as number 1. Same with 1990, and so forth. But 85 is still a great year. Number 7, I put 1993, which is a fantastic year because you had Hard Target, Cliffhanger, Demolition Man, The Fugitive, Judgment Night, In the Line of Fire. I like Jason Goes to Hell quite a bit. I like Jurassic Park. I like Last Action Hero. 91, I put as number 8. Ninja Turtles 2 Secret Ooze. It's always been nostalgic, childhood favorite. I love The Last Boy Scout. Showdown in Little Tokyo. Out for Justice. The Perfect Weapon. Terminator 2, of course. Star Trek 6. Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. Number 9, I put 1995. You had Heat. Die with a Vengeance. Rumble in the Bronx. Virtuosity. Bad Boys. The Mangler. I like Mosquito. I think that's a fun creature feature film. Species. And for comedy, you had Tommy Boy, Billy Madison, Mallrats. If I'm saying just comedy, that probably would have been higher on the list. And number 10, it was between 94 and 97. Because 94, there's the film Speed, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Dumb and Dumber, Time Cop, Clerks. In 97, there's like Con Air, The Relic, Volcano, Copland. It's hard for me to pick which one. I like both of them kind of equally. So number 10 could be 1994 and 1997. And that's the thing, like going through all these. I mean, if I went into every single one and why I enjoy them, this video would be 2 hours long. And I know I went through some of these fast, and some of them people might not even know what the movies are. I mean, well, I mean, nowadays people just look up on Google or something, type it the title, and they'll know. Okay, he said it for this year, there you go. So, I mean, everyone's got on their phone, they could do that in less than 5 minutes. But sadly, I go through this 10 different years, 80s and 90s, and I never understood why and how the fuck Quentin Tarantino says that the 80s is one of the worst decades He says this is the worst decade, but 80s? I'm like, Tarantino, are you just... I like Tarantino. I like a lot of his movies. I even like some of his opinions. It is his opinion, but I love to sit down and go, dude, how can you tell me that the decade that gave us, The Hitcher and Aliens and, the John Carpenter's The Thing, which that's the thing, I know I didn't put 82 on there. People would be flabbergasted. But these others, you probably tend to notice that a lot is very featured with action and horror. Action's my favorite genre, horror's my second favorite, especially more like fun horror or creature feature horror. It's more my cup of tea. But I'm like, dude, you got tons of stuff I didn't even mention from the 80s. But you want to tell me that the decade that gave us Aliens and Rambo trilogy and The Terminator, which I haven't even mentioned, and The Hitcher and Die Hard and They Live and Batman. Like, give me a fucking break. And the 90s, people sleep on the 90s, but there's so many good stuff in the 90s. You just say, well, you grew up in that era. Okay, maybe, sure, but I could look at Cliffhanger and Demolition Man and The Last Boy Scout and Showdown in Little Tokyo and Copland and Tremors and Jacob's Ladder and Total Recall and see, those are damn classics. Those are fucking good. Those are awesome. And then you look at this year. What do you have this year? I looked at a list of like the highest grossing films. It was a Minecraft movie, dog shit. Jurassic World 7, Thunderbolts, Superman, pretty boring in my opinion. Fantastic Four, no one's going to remember that film by next year. I know some people liked it and they thought it was pretty good. I disagree. We agree to disagree. I'd rather watch War of the Worlds with Ice Cube because, yes, it's bad, but man, it was more... I'm still... It's been like a week since I've seen that film, and I still remember parts of that film and reactions, and I would watch that film again now because it's entertaining in the vein of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and Samurai Cop and other stuff. That will be part of like the cult film in my head. But I'm sitting there and going, okay, Sinners. People talk about Sinners. Sinners did nothing for me. Nothing for me. The depth that people talk about, I got it out of Get Out, which I enjoy that film. Hell, I like Nope, which actually I got right there, the Blu-ray. Nope, I enjoyed. But yeah, this one, I mean, Sinners, no. But if I look at Warning Sign from 1985, which I thought was a pretty damn good film, which was kind of a predecessor to 28 Days Later, which is about a rage virus, and people are trapped in this facility, and some doctors have to go in and try to figure out what to do to find a cure and such, and one guy wants to rescue his wife, Kathleen Quinlan, Sam Waterston, Yaphet Kotto, I think Jeffrey DeMunn is in it, who's in the original The Hitcher and the Blob remake. 1995. I mentioned Your Virtuosity is my favorite Denzel Washington film. The Mangler is my favorite Tobe Hooper film. I like how weird and eccentric and crazy the film is. Ted Levine, who's usually cast as a villain. Cool to see him as the hero. I like some of his dialogue, his mannerisms. Mosquito is a fun B-movie creature feature with not the best acting, but it has a B-movie charm with these giant puppet mosquitoes and you get some gore, like these things going in, and sometimes people's like eyes explode or they shrink and shrivel up, or it'll be like a siege movie where they're in an RV or they're at a house and these puppets are coming out of the woodwork and they're blowing them away with shotguns and using as much practical as they could. because they put that effort and time. That's the thing with you to low budget films. Evil Dead 1 and 2 even. I mean, 2 had a bigger budget, but I felt the effort more. We have to blow things up, and without using CG. We're not using shitty fucking filters, soft focus filters, or weird fucked up color filters that are just seem more phony and fake and bullshit. We don't have to force CG when we don't need to. Like, oh, we need a CG fucking muzzle on a gun, or CG blood, or CG smoke, or a CG fucking cigarette. Like in fucking Avatar. Sigourney Weaver's cigarette is literal fucking CG cigarette. Don't believe me? Look it up. And you look at the way some people have grown up and the type of films they grew up in the mid 2000s and growing up with some of this bullshit, in my opinion. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter and bullshit. No wonder fucking films suck nowadays. That's just my opinion. But I look back on these years and I'm like, I wish we had films like Blind Fury and Stone Cold and comedies like Tommy Boy or creature features like Species. Fright Night, the original, that is. Great movie. You know, Day of the Dead, I put that in 85. 87, I put, you know, Over the Top. People did make fun of, oh, it's arm wrestling. Yeah, well, years and years later, they ripped it off to do a fucking Rock'em Sock wannabe robot movie with Hugh Jackman called Real Steel, which was, in my opinion, shit. But that's, you know, people controlling big fucking robots, and oh yeah, but arm wrestling, which is a real fucking thing, is so ridiculous. Fuck you talking about? Judgment Night, good thriller with Emilio Estevez, Dennis Leary, Cuba Gooding Jr., Stephen Dorff. They go into a boxing game, they go off the beaten path, they get stuck in the ghetto, or however you want to put it, the rundown parts of the city. They witness something they're not supposed to, and then throughout the night they're on the run. Emilio, Cuba Gooding Jr., Stephen Dorff, etc., Jeremy Piven, and Dennis Leary's your villain. From the same director did Predator 2. Of course, how could I forget? 1990. Predator 2. How could I forget? Another reason why it's number 2. Because you had Ninja Turtles, Tremors, Predator 2, Jacob's Ladder, I Come in Peace, which is a favorite of mine. And you go in pieces, asshole. Another reason why 1990 is the second favorite year. So yeah, 86, 90, and 88, 89, and 87, my top 5. 85, 87, I was thinking of like switching back and forth, but I love Rambo 2 and other stuff, but when you have Predator and Lethal Weapon and RoboCop and Evil Dead 2 in the same year, it's kind of hard to, it's a hard year to beat, you know what I mean? And it has all this other added stuff too. So yeah, a lot of good collection of years, man. A lot of good collection of years, and we're not getting, I mean, there's a reason why the box office is down. There's a reason why people, I think, are getting more and more apathetic to movies and going to the theater. Because you have much more options, gaming-wise, all the stuff on your phone, YouTube-wise, streaming-wise, and etc. It's about quantity over quality. We gotta get 18 things on this program because we need this streaming service to have content for people to keep watching. Because if they don't like one, they'll get the other. But if there's only 5 things on there, they'll skip to the other streaming service. So we need more content so people will be curious, even if it's bad. They're curious, they'll check this out, check this out. Well, you know what, there's so much content, I better keep this streaming service because maybe one of them will be good. So give us content, give us content. It may be bad, but give us content. So again, quantity over quality. That's where a lot of things are. That's why a lot of things are happening in today's age. That's the way I looked at it. That's just my opinion. Take that for you will. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys in the next video. But yeah. It was a nice trip down memory lane just thinking of all these films and going, man, It'll never be the same again, and it's not just nostalgia talking. Because there are people who are younger than me who will have the same type of mentality, and they weren't even alive during this time. They weren't even alive during 1990 or 1989 or 1993. They weren't even born then, and they're feeling the same way. So, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. One last thing. Imagine like 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, someone doing this kind of video and trying to pick like the top 10. And if they pick this year, what fucking movies are they going to pick? Oh yeah, this year is one of my favorites because of Minecraft. Oh, that Jurassic World's Part 7. The umpteenth Superman movie called just Superman. Okay. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.